good to go? Live? Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our October 7th council meeting. Our first order of business is a call to order and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next up is item number 2 on the agenda, which is the reading of the sunshine statement and roll call by our municipal clerk, Mrs. Lauren Stats.
This meeting of the Dunellen Borough Council is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of October 7th, 2024 was included in a list of meetings that was advertised in the Courier on January 8th, 2024, and as a teleconference was noticed on the official Dunellen website on October 4th, 2024, and on the public bulletin board on North Avenue on October 4th, 2024, and has remained continuously posted as required notice under the state statute. Mayor Salento,
Present.
Council President Albertson,
Here.
Mrs. Lance,
Here.
Mrs. Rios,
Here.
Mr. Scott,
Here.
Mr. Sigmund,
Here.
and Mr. Vandermark. Noted absent.
Before we move on to item number 3 on the agenda, which is going to be proclamations, I just want to say a few words about the Sidney McLaughlin Lavroni ceremony we had on September 23rd. We held an incredible event to honor the Dunellen native and 4-time Olympian, right?
Great.
3, sorry. McLaughlin Lavroni at 5 p.m. at Columbia Park. I want to first thank Sydney for making time in her extremely busy schedule to stop by for this event, along with her wonderful family. I want to say thank you to our musical guests, the Dunellen High School Madrigals, with their rendition of the national anthem, and Jake Mosca, Dunellen resident, who performed God Bless America, a very good version, by the way.
Yeah.
And our guest speakers, Pastor Roy Carroll of Living Hope Church, Acting Governor Tahisha Way, Assemblywoman Michelle Matsakudis, Assemblywoman Nancy Munoz, Senator John Bramnick, Brendan Tennant of Faber Elementary School, Coach Mike McCabe, and Sister Pursley Hart from Union Catholic High School, Middlesex County Commissioner Chanel Scott McCollum, Middlesex County Sheriff Mildred Scott, and of course, our special guest of honor, Sidney McLaughlin Lavroni, and our MC for the evening, Alex Miller. Thank you to all our EMS and DPW staff for their services and involvement, our police department and CERT team for providing security and safety measures before, during, and after the event, and our IT team, Ronnie Haynes, David Petzinger, and Ryan Ferrer, for all their time and effort in setting up all of the audio and video equipment. So very good job on that. Also want to say thank you to the county and state emergency services that were also there. Also importantly, special thanks to Kelly Cedar, Billy George, and Alex Miller for putting this special event together. We couldn't have asked for a better way to honor our hometown Olympian, and honestly, to Kelly, Alex, and Billy, who did really grab the bull by the horns on this one. You did an outstanding job on getting everybody coordinated, getting all the speakers and all the dignitaries there. So congratulations on a very well-run event. It was great for Dunellen. So you guys should be very proud of yourselves. Everyone should involved should be very proud of themselves. So congratulations, good work. So with that, we have 3 proclamations this evening. The first proclamation is recognizing October as Substance Abuse Prevention Month, and this will be read by Council President Terry Albertson and Council Member Trina Rios.
Proclamation, Substance Abuse Prevention Month, October 2024. Whereas realized my mic wasn't on. Whereas the anti-stigma campaign aims to create awareness around drug use and drug-related stigma experienced by individuals who use drugs and help remove the stereotypes associated with individuals who use drugs. And whereas stigma is an attitude, belief, or behavior that discriminates against people and often emerges in the form of derogatory language that shames and belittles people. And whereas a substance use disorder is a health condition and people should not be defined by their illness or health condition. Stigmatization language is inaccurate, hurtful, disempowering, and one of the biggest barriers to assess treatment. And
Whereas difficult drug use can disproportionately affect certain groups. It can affect anyone. People who use drugs are our neighbors, coworkers, relatives, and friends. People who use drugs can be doctors, hunters, artists, students, and educators. It is Dunellen's goal to challenge our perceptions and encourage people to start a conversation about stigma. And whereas there are many resources available for people to educate themselves about stigma, its devastating effects, and what can be done to help end stigma. As a community, we all have a role to play in addressing the stigma faced by people who use drugs. Stop the stigma. Hashtag Stop the Stigma Month. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that Jason F. Salento, Mayor of the Borough of Dunellen, New Jersey, with support from the Borough Council, do hereby proclaim October as Substance Use Prevention Month in the Borough of Dunellen and call upon the people of our municipality to join in supporting this observation. Thank you.
Next up is a proclamation recognizing October 2 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it is read by Councilmember.
Whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month began in 1985 as a way to encourage women to get regular mammograms and has since expanded to spread awareness on treatment, research, and funding. And whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month is a time to support those affected by breast cancer, educate people about risk factors, encourage women to go for regular screenings, and raise funds for research efforts to find a cure. And whereas 1 in 8 women in the United States will be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime, and whereas breast cancer is the most common cancer diagnosed among women in the United States, and is the second leading cause of death from cancer among women, and whereas an estimated 310,000 women and 2,800 men will be diagnosed with breast cancer in 2024, and whereas early detection greatly reduces deaths among those diagnosed with breast cancer, with a 5-year survival rate of 99% when the disease is caught at the localized stage. And whereas we recognize and honor the strength, resilience, and courage of survivors, those currently battling breast cancer, and the loved ones who stand by their side, and we remember those we've lost to the disease. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Jason F. Salento, Mayor of the Borough of Dunellen, New Jersey, with support from the Borough Council, do hereby proclaim October 2024 as Breast Cancer Awareness Month in the Borough of Dunellen and call upon the people of our municipality to join in supporting this observation and spread awareness for the importance of regular screenings and early detection.
The proclamation recognizing October also as National Child Heritage. So I'll take time. Whereas Italian American Heritage Month recognizes the many achievements and valuable contributions of Italian Americans to the success of our country, especially in art, humanities, and sciences. And whereas Italian American Heritage Month was first celebrated in 1989 to coincide with Columbus Day, which is celebrated on the second Monday of October. And whereas over 5 million Italians immigrated to the United States from 1820 to 2000, there's over 26 million Americans of Italian descent residing in the United States today. And whereas Italian Americans are the 5th largest ethnic group in the United States, and whereas Dunellen proudly fosters a sister-city relationship with 2 Italian municipalities in the province of Piacenza, Borgonovo, Valtellone, and Castel San Giovanni, were exchanges in educational, cultural, recreational, and economic fields, and whereas Italian American Heritage offers an opportunity to explore honor and celebrate the diverse cultural traditions and customs of the Italian American community. Now therefore be it proclaimed that I, Jason Dunellen, Mayor of the Borough of Dunellen, New Jersey, and support the Borough Council, do hereby proclaim October 2024 the Italian American Heritage Month in the Borough of Dunellen, and call upon the people of our community to join in support of obligation. Okay, wonderful. Next up will be item number 4 on the agenda, approval of meeting minutes. Can I have a motion and second on regular meetings of the September 16th, 2024 council?
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Lance.
Any comments or edits to the meeting minutes as they currently stand? Without hearing any, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
Item number 5 is the introduction of ordinances. Item 2024-27, an ordinance to amend and supplement the general legislation of the Borough of Dunellen, Chapter 269, traffic. Can I have a motion and second, please?
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Rios.
Roll call?
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
For record, item ordinance 2024-27 as introduced will be in the clerk's office or online for anyone's review, public and councils, and will be heard at the next council meeting, October 21st, for potential public hearing. Well, will be public hearing, but potential adoption. So item number 6 is the adoption of ordinances, 2024-24, an ordinance to amend several sections of chapter 237 sidewalk cafes. Can I have a motion and second, please?
Move it, Rios.
Second, Albertson.
We'll open up the floor to the public for any comments or questions solely to 2024-24. Amendments to the sections related to sidewalk cafes and our ordinances. We ask that you please state your name and address. Just for public note, again, this is just regulating sidewalk cafes, basically outdoor dining, and setting a flat rate across the board for all restaurants that choose to do sidewalk dining at $50.
50, yep.
Okay. So public. Without hearing any, we'll close that portion of the meeting. We'll open the floor to mayor and council for any comments or discussion on 2024-24. Good. We addressed your concern the last time, right? Perfect. And thank you for bringing that to our attention. Okay, without further discussion, can we have a roll call, please?
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item number 7 on the agenda is resolutions 296 through 303. Mrs. Stats, our municipal clerk, I will read each one through and allow mayor and council opportunity to discuss them.
Resolution number 296 is to pay the bills.
Move it, Albertson.
Second.
Sigmund.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
Resolution 297 is to hire substitute crossing guards.
Move it, Rios.
Second, Albertson.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
Resolution 298, authorizing the cancellation of taxes for a 100% disabled veteran pertaining to 105 Pearl Place.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Rios.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
And Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
Resolution number 299 is authorizing the cancellation of taxes for a 100% disabled veteran pertaining to 422 New Market Avenue.
Move it.
Sigmund.
Second, Rios.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance?
Yes.
Mrs. Rios?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mr. Sigmund?
Yes.
And, sorry, say Mr. Vandenmark. Resolution number 300 is to authorize the chapter 159 for the New Jersey American Water Firefighter Grant.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Albertson.
Which I believe we received a check for this evening, correct?
Yes.
So good news. Good work by the fire department getting that.
Okay, I'll take a roll. Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Abstain due to membership in the fire department.
and Mr. Sigmund.
Yes.
Do I go back and abstain?
Is she allowed to recall a vote and abstain due to association?
Yeah, so we should just correct. the-
For formality.
Okay, so
That's
abstain due to being on the fire department.
Okay,
So no, it's a majority of the quorum, so I don't have to break it down.
so she should be good.
Hmm?
Okay. Resolution number 301 is to award a contract to Dynamic Production Systems for the installation of a Viking telephone entry system outside of police headquarters.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Rios.
Mr. Miller, do you want to address this for the public and for council?
The system that's gonna be installed is similar to the fall box that we have presently. Again, now the fall box will be outside the police door, so now the police, lobby door will be locked down on off hours. But if there's an emergency, somebody can hit the button right there and it goes right to Somerset County Dispatch, which would reach out to our officers if they're out on the road.
Any questions?
So if they're not out on the road, then it will correctly.
It still goes to dispatch first. That's the procedure. So this way, on record, if somebody's outside, go to dispatch and right away, it would go to, whatever officers are on duty.
So what's the standard delay time then between the call, dispatch, and then back to the office?
It's really quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I did it the other day, because I popped out there, and I pressed the button, and I could hear through the door, him being called on the radio, and then he came. right out.
Okay, so almost immediately.
Yeah, and it's good for our records too. So it's a,
It's also in terms of safety and security for the building,
Mhm.
Yeah,
especially
Yeah.
during the day and at night.
because otherwise it's unlocked. It's access to the building is.
I believe River has it there.
Right. Yeah, they have an outside bridge. Yep. Most towns do.
But
Right, I
appreciate
just
that
wanted to
question.
make sure
Yes.
that, in the case of an emergency, if there is an immediate emergency right there, that it would be heard and received right away. That's all. Thank you.
When you get a call from dispatch on a call box.
It'll be the same as it is now.
Yeah, so it's really quick.
When they come to headquarters, they push a button, Scott picks up, speaks to them, it's just the calls, they get on the radio and call us. It's the same, if it's outside, it's just that same exact box. It's the outside. Every one of the
Thank you, Councilwoman. Okay, if there's no further discussion, let's take a roll call.
Mrs. Albertson?
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
and Mr. Sigmund.
Yes.
Resolution 302 is to amend resolution from August 5th, number 230, authorizing the execution of the NJDEP remedial action permit and issuance of a letter of credit in the amount of $36,700 related to site remediation at 500 Mountain View Terrace.
Move it, Sigmund.
Second, Rios.
I've asked Mr. Robertson, our legal counsel, to address this matter.
Just a very minor amendment to resolution that was previously adopted in August. This is to supplement the original resolution, specifically identify Provident Bank as the issuer of the letter of credit, and also to correct the amount. The original resolution referred to an amount of $36,000. It's actually $36,700. So those two modifications were made to the prior resolution.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
and Mr. Sigmund.
Yes.
Resolution 303 is authorizing the cancellation of taxes for a 100% disabled veteran pertaining to 327 South Madison Avenue.
Move it,
Move.
Rios.
Second, Sigmund.
Mrs. Albertson,
Yes.
Mrs. Lance,
Yes.
Mrs. Rios,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
and Mr. Sigmund.
Yes.
Okay. Next up is item number 8 on our agenda, which is council reports. Council President Albertson, anything to report?
Yes. Fire Department call statistics for the month of September, 27 total calls, 11 false alarms, 1 hazmat, 4 good intention, 1 cover assignment, mutual aid, 3 fire, and 7 EMS. Year-to-date, 207 total calls. Monthly activities. September was another busy month for the fire department with several drills and events in addition to emergency fire calls. September 9th was a monthly work drill. September 11th, they attended the joint Middlesex Dunellen 9/11 ceremony. September 17th, 18th, and 19th, drills to lay out and place equipment onto new engine 3 and truck 4. September 23rd, attended the Sydney homecoming ceremony. September 25th, held the monthly fire company meeting. September 28th, held the annual street fair. September 30th, attended the retirement ceremony for Officer Daniels. DDMO Harvest Fest is this Sunday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. We hope to see you there. Please stop by to see the Shade Tree Commission and the Dunellen Municipal Alliance while you're there. Friends of the Dunellen Public Library, 2 more open air markets this season. October 20th is Oktoberfest and a mini Halloween parade for children. November 3rd is a great time to start your holiday shopping. Markets are at Washington Memorial Park from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Our annual Bags and Bling sale is November 10th at the library. This year, we have an exclusive sip and shop event on Saturday, November 9th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. $5 admission includes mocktails and cheese and crackers, and your opportunity to be the first to shop. Contact a friends for reservations. The American Legion Post 119 car shows are October 16th and October 30th. Which is a very special trunk or treat. Bring the family and have a fun evening. Car shows start at 5 p.m. Bar bingo is October 14th and 28th. Opens at 5 p.m. Bingo starts at 6 p.m. Refreshments are available for purchase at each of these events. And of course, all the proceeds go to help our veterans. That's all I have today.
Okay. Councilmember Rios?
Yes, Dunellen Public Library thanks everyone who attended the 4th annual Hispanic Heritage Celebration on Saturday. The event was a great success, and we look forward to next year's celebration. Join us for musical story time every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. for children ages 3 and under. And don't miss our conversational cafe every Wednesday from 6:30 to 7:30, where you can have conversations in English and Spanish. On Saturday, October 26th, OEM will be hosting a back-to-school safety event from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. For more activities throughout the month, visit our website or stop by the library to pick up a calendar. Dunellen Board of Ed, the next meeting will be held October 15th. All meetings begin approximately 7 p.m., but we'll immediately go into executive session with the public portion starting at 7:30, unless otherwise noted. Meetings take place in Lincoln Middle School cafeteria. At the September meeting, Ms. Drapkin gave a presentation on the New Jersey Student Learning Assessment, which is the NJSLA, and the dynamic learning maps. The presentation, available online at DunellenSchools.org, provided an overview of the NJSLA, which is administered annually to students in grades 3 through 11 and is based on a subset of prioritized academic standards. Dates to remember are October 14th. There is no school. Dunellen Recreation. The soccer program is underway with a very strong enrollment. For pre-K through 8th grade, we have 163 children enrolled, which is the same amount as last year. The Dunellen Recreation Annual Senior Picnic was held on Friday, September 20th from 11 to 1. The weather was perfect and a wonderful time was held by all. Thank you to the Mayor and Council for as always, for your support and of our programs. Also, thank you to Mayor Jason Salento, Councilwoman Trina Rios, Rec Commission member Kathy Wilson and her husband Jeff, and Rec Commission Chair Jim Brennan. Also, thanks to Business Administrator Alex Miller for being in attendance and supporting our program. Special thanks to the Dunellen American Legion Post 119 for always hosting the picnic. You are all the best. Reminder, the 75th annual Halloween parade is on Sunday, October 27th. This year, there is a new route. The parade will start at 1 p.m. at the library parking lot and walk over to Washington Memorial Park. So that means registration will be around 12 o'clock. As Dunellen's birthday approaches, Dunellen Recreation is celebrating Founder's Day on Sunday, October 27th at Washington Park from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Founder's Day will be a way to celebrate the rich history of our Miracle Mile. This community-wide celebration will bring residents and visitors together in a festive environment to honor our town's heritage. Founder's Day will feature local vendors, live performances from community artists, activities that showcase the spirit of our town. If you are interested in becoming a vendor, a food vendor, or a performer, please contact Rec Program Coordinator Kelly Cedar at kcedar@DunellenBorough.com. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Lance?
From Buildings and Grounds, all electrical power beneath the railroad bridges are now fully operational. The installation of the new LED lights took place on October 5th and are illuminated just like the ones under Prospect and Washington Ave bridges. It's
Good
been
work.
quite a while since the lights under the Madison Ave Bridge were functioning, and now all three railroad bridges have been upgraded with the new LED lighting. We are also looking forward to the installation of the Madison Ave murals provided by the Dunellen Arts, Inclusion, and Culture Commission. As spoken about earlier, a new security call box system for the police lobby and council chambers will be installed to provide secure entrance during off hours. A call box will be installed outside the entrance, connecting directly to Somerset County Dispatch, which will then reach out to our police department officers who will likely be on patrol. This is an updated system similar to the current one in use inside the lobby. I also have a report for the Mayor's Traffic and Pedestrian Task Force. Will be at the Dunellen's Harvest Fest, Annual Harvest Fest, taking place this Sunday, October 13th, where we will be distributing free slow down sticker decals for trash and recycling receptacles to our Dunellen residents. These decals serve as a gentle reminder to remain aware of our surroundings, promoting a culture of mindfulness around town. We look forward to seeing our community unite in this meaningful initiative, and we invite you to stop by and grab yours. And that's all.
Thank you. Councilmember Sigmund?
Yes, thank you. Just my usual reminder, for the recreation program, and you don't have to be a great athlete to be a great role model. Our programs do run on the backs of volunteers, and I truly appreciate all the coaches out there that have volunteered for this season. I'm out there every weekend and can tell the kids are having a great time. So thank you all.
Okay,
And that's it.
thank you, Councilmember. Thank you for volunteering as a coach too. Councilmember Scott?
For the Public Works, DPW has continued to routinely clean the downtown area and the parks and properties. Weekly lawn and landscape maintenance of the borough parks and properties. Continue to remove trash from the trash trap. Daily watering of the new downtown trees. Hopefully they take off nice. Assisted PSE&G with the removal of some dead trees that were on power lines. They cleaned and blocked the downtown for the street fair. They power washed the Columbia Park bleachers and assisted with traffic for the Sidney McLaughlin-LeVron ceremony as they prepped and cleaned up for the ceremony. They started distribution of leaf bags and weekly curbside leaf pickups. A reminder that crews will begin picking up leaf bags through the end of the year. They prepped the train station for the car show on October 6th. And just some reminders, this coming Saturday is the last roll-off date for October. It's October 12th, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And leaf bag distribution is available. It's a one bundle of 25 bags per household. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. A few items, Klein Place, Department of Transportation project, it's nearing completion. And the contractor is going through their punch list from CME, who is our engineers. Following the paving of the street, some new trees and brush have been planted. We also expect new signs and street striping this week that will include rumble strips and 25-mile-per-hour painted on the street. The Middlesex County Pulaski Street Culvert project has officially reopened. The Pulaski Street is officially reopened. The contractor is finalizing site restoration to the project, which is expected to be completed this week. The new culvert is much larger and higher than the old culvert, which will increase the water flow, allowing water to flow through much more efficiently. So that was a long time due for that project to be completed. Penfield Place and Maple Avenue, New Jersey American Water Project. We expect Garden State Paving to provide some road restoration this week before New Jersey American Water's mill and pave phase of this project, which is expected later this month. Downtown trees from Madison Ave to 200 block of North Ave. Caffrey Trees has been installing a few more, will be installing a few more trees to complete the first phase of the new tree installation along North Avenue. On that note, I will recognize that some people have shared concern that we planted trees, and I recognize everybody has a right to a concern, but just for transparency, this has all been a part of the efforts of the improvements of our downtown, the streetscape, which includes trees that shade the sidewalks, which encourage people to actually walk in our downtown. So we will be planting more trees. It's not breaking news. It's been there for a while. So, but I just want that on the record, that we will be planting more trees over the years. So, okay. CME engineers report, Lincoln Avenue, the final reimbursement figures are under review for the DOT, which is great because then we can pay down some of that capital bonding that we took out from Lincoln Avenue from the grant. Washington Avenue street lighting, the local aid office has issued authorization to bid. The county has recently issued comments, and CME is inquired to the DOT regarding the status of the permits for the work at the corners of North Avenue. Second Street Phase 1, the DOT has issued review comments and CME is addressing the same. They're preparing the submission to the Freehold Soil Conservation District for plan certification. And yes, they will be going to the MTAPs for a discussion on the striping plan for that road. Downtown wayfinding signage, CME has received sign details from our vendor and is finalizing some preliminary sign layouts for the borough to review. Dunellen Station, K Hovnanian side, CME continues final inspections for COs were performed and a list of deficiencies was provided to the developer from the engineer, so they'll work on that with them. Prism, which is the retail and apartments, they're understanding the redeveloper make an application to the planning board. I believe it's for parking along Park Avenue. That's my understanding. Railroad culvert, the application to the DEP has been withdrawn. CME has contacted the Army Corps to attempt to obtain additional information regarding the Greenbrook Flood Control Project. They will review potential alternate approaches to the permit requirements for further review at the borough. So let me elaborate on that. It's not being withdrawn in the sense of we are not moving forward with said project because this is a project that's been long overdue. Based upon when the application was resubmitted after a few obstacles along the way. Time's been running out, and in order to prevent the DEP denying our application for the to the DEP, they recommended that we withdraw it, consult the Greenbrook Flood Commission and the Army Corps on their status and where that's at and how we build that into the plan for this project so we can resubmit an application with that in mind and of course now the new DEP regulations. Just another hurdle in the road to get the railroad culvert done, but we're still gonna move forward with it. Again, another hurdle. I wish we were as quick as Sydney because we'd be over them already, but that's life, unfortunately. We're not Sydney. CME has discussed street lighting conversion costs with Mike Coyle of PSE&G as directed by Frank Lucchesi. Mr. Coyle has in turn contacted Bob Hughes of PSE&G regarding the borough's concerns, and we await their response. When we say that, that is the decorative lighting in the downtown to convert them to LED to match what the new grant ones are going to be and help with lighting improvement in the downtown. CME is also preparing the following. Budget letter for the RRFB installations at New Market Road and Grove Street and South Washington Avenue, Orange Street. That's part of the RST grant, Safe Routes to Transit grant that we were awarded. Budget letter for streetscaping lighting on North Avenue from Madison Avenue to the Middlesex Borough. That's a Transit Village grant. Just saying that because it's abbreviated and what the grant is. A budget letter for the 2025 MS4 permit requirements. And proposal for the RFPB installations at Madison Avenue and First Street, Madison Avenue and Dunellen Avenue, North Washington Avenue and First Street, and North Washington Avenue and Dunellen Avenue, which we're funding through capital that we approved this year. So that's my report. Department head reports, anything from clerk's office?
Yes. Just a reminder that October 15th is the last day to register to vote for the general election. If you would like to register, you could stop by the clerk's office for a paper registration or register online at the New Jersey Division of Elections. And that's it.
Okay, that's it. Legal?
No report.
Okay, keep up the good work, Mr. Robertson. IT?
This leaving off the loan ceremony was a pretty good success, even though the rain, all of our technology stuff is perfectly fine, no damage to the.
Oh, that's good news. That's it?
Mhm.
Okay, thank you, sir. OEM?
Yeah, just two quick things, we have present at the Harvest Fest on Sunday. The students preparatory materials, and also, we hope to support the Haunted Trail, again this year in terms of, personnel.
Wonderful. That's it? Okay, thank you for all that you do. Lieutenant? Okay, how are you enjoying the job? Wonderful. Thank you for what you and your team does. Fire Department, Deputy Chief?
A special note, our department responded to 2 structure fires over the past 30 days. The first being a kitchen fire in a house under renovation on the 400 block of 4th Street, and this past Sunday morning at 14 South Washington Ave. Both fires were quickly extinguished and fire damage was limited to the area of origin and no injuries reported. Both fires were investigated by the Middlesex County Fire Marshal and not suspicious in nature. During the fire at 14 South Washington, an unknown vehicle struck the parked personal cars of our deputy chief, causing extensive damage to the driver's side. Dunellen police are investigating the accident. Firehouse rebuild, the firehouse rebuild is progressing and nearing completion. We expect completion by the end of October. Apparatus update, engine 3 is nearing completion of equipment mounting. The engine is currently at absolute fire for some final mounting and configuration. We expect the engine to be returned this week and hope to place it in service shortly. Truck 4 will be going to absolute for equipment mounting once engine 3 is complete. This past Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, our members completed the mandatory factory training on the operations of the new ladder truck. Once the equipment mounting is completed, after a period of operator training, we will place the truck in service. Membership, the Dunellen Center Fire Company and Dunellen Fire Department are seeking new volunteer members. Anyone interested in joining can visit www.dunellenfd.com or email us at joindfd@dunellenfd.com.
Okay, thank you, and thank you for what your volunteer agency does, and to the other emergency services that responded to those fires, so thank you. Anything from the chaplain from the fire department? No? Okay. Okay, thank you, Mr. Morgan. And ask administration, up, right on time. Anything from the administrator's office?
Nothing on my end.
Nothing on your end.
No,
You're the head guy in town. And
a lot of it's said probably.
okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Okay, with that, we'll conclude that part of the meeting and we'll move on to item number 10, public comments. We'll open the floor, we'll go first to the public in chambers and then online, and then we'll just do a blanket opening. So I will open the floor to the public that are in chambers currently. Please state your name and address and state your concern.
Dave Morgan, 805 Front Street. I got a notice of the total enforcement reminder that the town, and I'm calling the code, the code enforcement.
I didn't hear that last part, I'm sorry.
I got I think it's the town on the Dunellen code enforcement reminder.
Yes,
Is the town gonna stand by it and follow through with the Dunellen code enforcement?
yes, we are, and that's why that notice was sent out. It's part of the efforts to come down hard on some violations that are going on in town.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Morgan. Okay, any other members of the public that are in chambers would like to ask a question or make their concerns known? Please state your name and address. Without hearing any, we'll open the floor to the members of the public online. We ask that you please state your name and address and state your comment or concern. Okay, without hearing any, we'll open the floor to both members of the public in chambers and online to address your concerns. Please state your name and address. Just for good measure. Without hearing any, we'll close that portion of the meeting. Item number 10 on the agenda. Item number 11 is adjournment of our meeting on resolution number 304. We have no further business, no executives. So with that, I ask for a motion and second on resolution number 304.
Move it, Sigmund?
Second, Albertson.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Okay, good night. See you October 21st, everyone.